would you be so kind as to hand me back to the front the copy that I made for you? Because I will give them to a class next semester or something. Erase it, guys. Then just hand it to me, Antonia. It's in your book already. It's okay. Faith, it's all right. You hadn't written it. No. You don't apologize. I'm the idiot. I'm sorry to you. I'm the one that printed something that I didn't need to print. I'm sorry to the earth for using the resources required to do this. I'm sorry to all of you for that slight bit of your future I have ruined by printing this. I'm apologizing. I'm dead serious. You guys think I'm not. I feel like an idiot.
We have like a quarter of a less tree now.
So you have that tiny little bit of your future is gone. I will now have to go plant a tree to make up for it. I will plant a tree. You think I won't, but I will. All right. All that was recorded. I will plant a tree. Okay. What are the 4 forms of writing an equation? I'll take any one of the 4. No, tables of values aren't an equation. General form, which is what? AX, BY. Now, what do we know about this form? A cannot be what? Cannot be negative. A and B cannot be fractions, which also automatically includes decimals. Okay? You know what? A, B, and C can't be fraction, can't be decimals. Everybody cool? And A is the only one that has to be positive. B and C can be negative, but only A has to be positive. Everybody good? And then his ugly cousin, standard form, which follows all the same rules, but it's AX plus BY equals C. But all the other rules apply. Okay? That's number 2. And then number 3, y equals mx plus b. What do we know about that one? M equals slope. But what else does slope equal? Rise over run. And what else does slope equal? Remember, that can go in for M. And B is what? Y-intercept. Now, remember, in real life, if you're graphing a real life situation, that y-intercept is going to have a value, isn't it? Like in the girls playing hockey thing. The y-intercept was a number of girls. It wasn't a y. Understand? So keep your eye on that. And finally, number 4, my personal favorite, because I think it is the most versatile, point slope, which is y2 minus y1 equals m x2 minus x1. Now, remembering that y1 and x1 are points on the graph. With opposite sign. Now, when you see them all right there, all together in one spot, you see yx, 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 yx. They all have x's and y's. Yes? So no matter what, if I put 3, -4 right there, can you put that in everywhere in all of these equations? Yes. Will those give you all the numbers in the equation? Yes or no? If I put them in here, will I get all the numbers? I'll get an X, I'll get a Y. Will I know C? No. If I put them in here, will I know C? Will I know A? Will I know B? Or will I only know X and Y? What is 3? It's an X. What is -4? So, will I know A or B or C? No, I won't. What about here? Will I know my M or my B? No. What about here? Will I know my M or my other X and Y's? No, I won't. But I always will have a place to start, won't I? Because I have an X and a Y. Is everybody okay with that? For some reason, people look at these questions, kids I teach, kids I've taught the whole semester to, and say, Mr. Myers, I have no idea how to start. And I say, but you have an X and a Y. So, all of you know what you can do with that X and Y, no matter what, right? You can put it in for X's and Y's in the question. So, in this first question, what do I have? I have a slope of 5 and a y-intercept of 4. So, I need an equation for that. Do I have an equation that uses slopes and y-intercepts? What is it? Slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. There's my m, there's my b. Y equals 5x plus 4. Right? Now do algebra to turn it into these two forms. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. Now here's the next thing that messes kids up. Right now, this is our m, isn't it? Does everyone agree? But it's also, in this case, it happens to be our a as well. Why? A is the coefficient that is with x, correct? As long as all the numbers are meeting the rules. A is positive and all of these, there's no fractions. Are there any fractions in this? So if I make this look like this, am I going to be okay? So how do I do that? I need my x's and y's together and my number by itself. So what has to move? If I move the 5, I'm going to get negative 5x plus y equals 4. Is that close? Close, but not quite right. What's wrong with it? The 5 is negative. So what do I got to do? If I multiply everything by negative 1, I'm going to get 5x minus y equals negative 4. Is that okay? That's fine. Because everything, there's no fractions, and my a is positive. Is everyone all right with that? Again, it's algebra that concerns me more than your actual understanding of what's going on. Now, general form is ax plus by plus c equals 0. Everything on one side of the equation. So what's the only thing there that needs to move? The negative 4. 5x minus y. When the 4 comes over, what does it become? Positive 4 equals 0. Can everybody move an equation around? Because that's all you're doing. Now, what do I have here? What's that? Slope. So I have an m of 2/3, correct? What's that? A point, which gives me an x and a y, right? So what uses a point and a slope? Point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. The y1 and the x1 is the point that we know, right? So I have y minus, what's the point I know? The point I know is negative 2, right? So what I'm really writing is y minus minus 2, correct? But what am I going to write in my final equation? Now say it, Caitlin. Plus 2, y. Right. So that's y plus 2 equals, what's my m? 2/3 x minus 6. Can everybody do that one? Again, you're just taking the points and substituting them in. Do you have to memorize that? Yes or no? I've warned you. Do you have to have that memorized? No. I'm going to give you point-slope form on your data booklet. You just got to know how to use it. So now we have this equation, right? And this next question is the one that worries me. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 6. I want that in standard form. And here is where the wheels fall off. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. What is up here that isn't there? This has a slope in fractions. Any fractions here? No, so I got to get rid of those fractions. What else is up here that's not here? Brackets. So I got to get rid of those brackets, don't I? So once I get rid of the brackets, once I get rid of the fractions, am I in business? Okay. Now, is this grade 10 work? Or is it something you already did in grade 9, just distributing to get rid of brackets and moving stuff around? The math we're doing now is grade 9 work. You already know how to do it. We're going to apply it in a grade 10 way, yes? So what do you want to do first there? There's no right way or wrong way to do this. But you know you need to get rid of the fraction and the brackets, yes? What do you want to get rid of first? You want to get rid of the brackets? Okay, so if, Sammy, I gave you this, 3x minus 6, how would you get rid of the brackets? Times. You'd have 3x minus 18, right? So let's do that. Y plus 2, we're not touching that, equals 2/3 x minus, now here's where the wheels start to fall off. What is 2/3 times 6? It is 6/1, right? which is 6 times 2 is 12 over 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So what's going here? 4. Right? Now what do you want to do? Now I want to get rid of that fraction. How do I do that? Multiply by? What do I multiply by? If I add this, 3x over 5 equaled 6, what would you do? I'm sorry? Put a 1 under there and cross multiply, right? That would work. So that would be 3x equals 30, right? Then what? Divide by 3 and x would be 10. That'll work, right? Okay. Could I do this? 3x over 5 equals 6. What math is happening right there? Divide. How do I get rid of division? So if I multiply by 5, do I also get 3x equals 30? So you have two methods you can do to solve this. Do I care which one you use? No. Which one do you want to use? You want to use cross multiply? Okay, so if I want to cross multiply, I need something to equal something, don't I? So is that 4 allowed to be there if I want to cross multiply? So it's got to come over here, yeah? So I'm going to have y plus what? 6 equals 2x over 3, yes? What's under here? 1, so now we cross multiply. 2x equals 3y plus 18. How am I looking now? Am I getting close? What's the only other thing I need to do? Move what? I'm going to move the y because I want my x to stay positive, right? Are we happy? Does everyone see what we did? Should I do this the other way that isn't cross-multiplying? Will that help you guys? Or are you all happy with that? Do you all understand what went on there? Yeah? Okay. So general form, super easy. What do? What's got to move? Just the 18. Right? And then slope-intercept form. Point-slope form was y plus 2 equal 2/3 x minus 6, yeah? Slope-intercept form just has no brackets, right? And y is by itself. So we already know how to get rid of those brackets. Y plus 2 equal 2/3 x minus 4, yeah? How do I get that to slope-intercept form? What's got to move? If you don't remember what slope-intercept form is, you look on your data booklet, you see it's this. So what's got to move? Just the 2. So when it moves, what does it become? -2. So what do I get? Y equals 2/3 x minus 2 minus 6. Is everybody good? Can everybody move stuff around? Because you'll notice this time, have I even talked about a graph? Have I mentioned any coordinates? No, we're just moving it around. Okay. Find the equation of this line. What's the only thing I know right now? Do I know anything? No, I don't. I only know 2 points, don't I? Do those 2 points help me do something? What do they help you? Find slope, which is what Myers says to do whenever you're in trouble, right? In these units. I'm going to find slope because it'll help. So let's find our slope first. M equals what? So what's y2? 4 minus 5 over negative 2 minus 1. What's 4 minus 5? 4 minus 5. Negative 1. Negative 2 minus 1. Negative 3. 2 negatives. Positive. So do I know my new slope? Okay. Now I need slope-intercept form. There's a lot of ways I can fix this, isn't there? Right? There's a lot of ways I can do this now. I know I need to get to y equals mx plus b, yes? And I know my m, correct? What is it? So I have y equals 1/3 x plus b, correct? How am I going to find b? You can put in what? Isn't that a y? Isn't that a y? Isn't that an x? Isn't that an x? Isn't that a y? Isn't that an x? Can I put any of those in here? And will that get rid of 1, 2 variables and leave me with a variable? That's what I want, right? Because I want b alone. Right? Now here's where you're going to make a mistake. If I put that 5 for y, what do I have to put for x? 1. Why is that? Because I use that y, so I got to use its buddy. Some of you are going to take one y and take the x from the other one. Okay? You can't do that, all right? You got to remember to do it right. Okay, Sammy! I'm fixing your hiccups. I know, but your hiccups are gone. See what I did there? It's because I care. But your hiccups are gone. I felt that every time you hiccuped, Caitlin was laughing at you. I felt it was starting to hurt your feelings, so I thought it would help you get rid of your hiccups. You're welcome. It's because I care. So, what's going in here? Does it matter? Who chooses? You choose. So, if I put in 5 and 1, it's going to be 5 equals 1/3 1 plus b, right? So it's going to be 5 equals 1/3 plus b. I need b by itself, right? So what do I do with this? It's got to come over here, correct? 5 minus 1/3 is 4 and 2/3 equals b, isn't it? Does everyone agree? Everyone agree? Okay, now look what happens if I change it. Let's use the other one. 4 equals 1/3 times negative 2 plus b. 4 equals negative 2/3 plus b, correct? When that comes over here, what's going to happen to it? It's going to be positive. 4 and 2/3 is going to equal b. Does everybody understand? Every x and y, you can always sub in with the x's and y's that you already know. Does it matter what form you're in? No. Because if you have a point from the graph, you have an x and a y. In most questions, you have two x and y's you can work with. Cool? All right. Now look at number 6 and tell me what form you want to use. And then I'll tell you why you're wrong. What form are we going to use for 6? Slope form? Slope. Point slope form. Are you sure? Because what does the question say? You want to use y equals mx plus b, don't you? Why? Because you see slope and you see the word intercept, right? Look closer at that question. What intercept do you have? The x-intercept, not the y-intercept. So, is slope-intercept the way to go? No. But point-slope form would work, wouldn't it? Because the x-intercept, do we know the coordinates of every x-intercept? What is it? 2, 0. Right? Because the x-intercept is 2, so I know the x value, right? So now, do I have an x and a y? So now I could do it, couldn't I? Y equals mx plus b. Can I use that? Yes or no? I said not to at the beginning, but once I know this, can I use it? Why? Because I have an x and a y. Can I use point slope? Do I know a point on the graph? And that would just go in for these guys, right? Do they both work? So go ahead and do it. Tell me the answer. Oh, I should do that in blue, right? Because I used that same color. So now what goes in for y and x? Yeah. So the equation is y equals 5/3 x minus 3 1/3, or 10/3, or 3.33. Is everybody good? Was everyone able to do that? Because all you needed is an x and a y, right? If you were working with here, you would do the same thing. What would go in for this y1? 0. So y, right, equals m 5/3 x. What would go here? Minus 2. And you're still done. These are the exact same thing. Is everybody good? What's the key? X and y can go anywhere you see an x and y in any form you have. Right? Number 7, what are you going to do? What do you know? Do you have a point? What is it? So you have an x and you have a y. Okay? What else do you have? You have an equation. So what is missing? Slope. I don't know what to do, Ms. Myers. Find slope. Doesn't the word parallel give us a hint to slope? It's got to be parallel. It's got to be what? Exact same. So if I know this slope, do I know the slope with this line? So I got to find that slope, don't I? How do I find slope? Get y by itself. Well, it's a good thing I got rid of your hiccups. Now your brain can concentrate. So, Sammy, let's get y by itself. What's moving? So I got 4y equals negative 2x. Do I even care about the 7? No, because I only need the slope, don't I? Now what do I do to get rid of that 4? Divide by 4. So what's my slope? 2 divided by 4 is negative 1/2, yes? So do I have a slope now? So now I have a slope, and now I have a point. What form should I use? Slope, point. Y minus what? Yep, y minus 1 equals, what's my slope? Negative 1/2 x minus, it's x, technically it's x minus 3, right? But we would never write minus 3. What do we write? Plus 3. And then I'm done. Now, how can this bite you in the ass? Did we do this question right? Does everyone agree? And if I give you a multiple choice test, what if that's not there? That'll be one of the other forms, won't it? So you might have to move it around a second time.
Happy Wednesday. Brad. Oh, yeah. Announced this yesterday. Remember that Asia Secondary is hosting a free progress evening tomorrow night at 5:30. It's $2.